Good morning from Sweden. Today is the 5th of February and this is this morning's I Ching reflection, where we are looking at the energies around us and how we can best navigate them in order to make sure we have a so smooth and joyous day forward as possible. So, as usual, we're starting by centering ourselves, releasing past energies to bring ourselves into this present moment so that we can have a clear view of what is going on around us. So, root yourself into Mother Earth. So, sit on the surface below and allow yourself to sink down heavy. Your feet planted on the floor if you're sitting on the chair. Feeling that you have tree roots growing out of the soles of your feet all the way down into Mother Earth, anchoring yourself with Mother Earth. And as you breathe in, your stomach expands, and as you breathe out, it contracts. And on each breath in, your spine rises towards the sky. And with each breath out, you're sinking heavier, more heavier into the seat below. But your spine remains rising towards the sky, although it relaxes a little bit with each breath out. So you can feel this little micro movement in your spine. As you breathe in and out. And then keep breathing in and out through your nose, paying attention to how the stomach is expanding all the way around the sides and the back, as well as the front. As you breathe in and how it's contracting. But without force. None of this is without force. It's just breathing all the way down into our lungs. So using the whole lung, using the diaphragm. And when we're using the diaphragm, we are loosening up the diaphragm, which is usually very tight with many of us, because we usually have very shallow breathing. But when we are using the diaphragm, it presses down on the organs below, giving them a massage, softening the organs, allowing them to work more efficiently. Just as the rest of your body, the organs love a bit of a massage, softening the fascia all the way around the organs. Our bodies are made for movement, and that is within and without, okay? Okay, so let's check which hexagram we are getting today. What is the guidance for today? Heaven, earth, fire, water, thunder, wind, wood, mountain, lake. So we've got water. Oops. We've not had a lot of water, but we've had lake quite a bit. So lately, so we've got kan below. The inner is kan. Very kan is water. It's flowing. It's receptive. When it's calm, but like a big river, it can also be very dangerous. Tsunami, water, set in motion by a big, large force can also be very destructive. We could be helping to remove old energies, things we need to leave in the past, but it can also destroy a lot of things. So, heaven, earth, fire, water, thunder, windward, mountain, lake. So the outer, what's going on? Outer. So we've got mountain. So mountain again over water. Let's have a look. Water, 2 yin, 1 yang. And a mountain is 2 yin and 1 yang. So in all, we've got 4 yin and 2 yang. So a lot of receptive force here. Also replenishing water. We need water for life. Right? We can't live very long without water. And we've got this mountain rising out of the water. We've got a stream of water running at the foot of a mountain. And in the winters, when we're coming to spring and the snow is melting on the mountain, streaming down the side of the mountain, going all the way down into the earth below, bringing water to the vegetation below, so we can grow new plants, So let's see what's changing, and it's the first 6, which is a yin changing into a yang. So with that means that we got yang, yang, yin, which is dui, which is lake. Again, so similar. So lake is full of water, isn't it? So then we're moving. We've got 3 yin and 3 yang, and that's what we're moving in. It's also like this within this hexagram. That is the strongest energy, and what we are sort of heading into. We are in the beginning of this. So we've got lake below a mountain. So the stream is then turning into a lake. And lake, we're talking about joy and a solid center. A mountain is solid as well, right? It's very, very stable. It doesn't move an awful lot. The movement it does, it's very, 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 very slow. So, and then let's have a look. So we've got yin. So we've got yang, yin, yin in the approach gua. And then we've got yin, 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 which is kun, kun, zen. So we've got earth over thunder. So action within, or movement within, and nourishment and solid nourishment and responding. Kun, which is earth, right? The mother, which is responding to the seed, and nourishing all beings, right? Nourishing everything. And there's all yin. And that's the underlying energy. So let's have a look at these. Again, mountain over water, which is 4, which is childhood. Okay. So this is, so the overall theme of this month, February, is initiating. And we've had a lot of releasing, cutting away the old, and actually just stepped into a new cycle. And we've come into childhood. And with childhood, we need to nourish. Like a little child, we need to nourish with food and good food, and with love, and teaching them things and teaching them good things. So nourishment in a mental, intellectual way, with love, and also good food as well. So a lot of nourishment. So let's have it again. And Dui, which is number 41. Lots of 4s. And then Kun Zen. Kun Let's see where's then. There's up there. So 24. Could that be returning? Quite possibly. Let's have a look. Let's start with 41, which is the energy that we are sort of moving into, and that is like quite strong in the process of this main energy. So it's decreasing, losing, damaging, decreasing. Let's have a look. So that's decreasing. Here we're talking about decreasing, to decrease what is lower, to increase what is above. So what's lower is like where it's like inferior. To get rid of inferior emotions or behavior patterns, and like lashing out anger and all this, and then increase humility and compassion. So that was his theme yesterday as well, and that's obviously the theme generally for us. And it's earth energy, and it's been quite a bit of earth and wood energy lately. So number 424, which is the turning back. Yeah, so turning back. And this is also turning back to oneself, right? This is also speaking about a new cycle. So it's all been winter. It's winter, so all yin is like you're coming to the winter. And this is like when everything stops. Everything goes into sleep over winter. The bears goes into hibernation. The trees loses all the leaves, at least here in the northern hemisphere. But everything is just slowing down and just going into rest, and just not a lot of action should be taken during this. But we are now we're coming into spring, to the beginning here, where the young is coming in, and we're starting to move into action, which is turning back then. So we're moving into early spring in this new endeavor, which is number 4, childhood. So we're in the beginning. This speaks of this as well, childhood. We're in the beginning of this journey, of this new cycle, but we're moving forward, definitely. So let's have a look. Decreasing, actually I didn't look at that. What is the element of that? Turning back, which is earth as well, turning back to oneself. It's like we're turning back to the truth of us, to the essence of us. So what when we're going through tough times, a lot of veils are coming down, right? We're starting to see more clearly, and then we're starting to see who we truly are, because all these illusions that we've been taught from childhood, right? With this society that is speaking of things that are not entirely true. Oh, earth. So it's earth. So we're really in some earth, this one as well. So it's childhood, Ming, earth. So we're all earth energies. So the Mother Earth is here to wrap her arms around us and nourish us, right? So this is a time to look after ourselves. So if we look at this ideograph here, I think there's some plaster grasses growing from the roof. Let's have a look. Gracefully and spreads everywhere. The ancients saw dodder growing and spreading on the roofs of huts, and so created the ideograph of Meng to show grasses on the roof of a house. Later on, Meng came to mean covering, because dodder grows and covers roofs everywhere. The meaning, by the time King Wen wrote the decision, the meaning of Meng was extended to include wisdom. The ancient Chinese believed that the nature of a child is like uncarved jade. Its brilliance is hidden. At that time, an uneducated child was called Meng. Tong means child, and Tong Meng indicates that the wisdom of a child is concealed and not yet uncovered. And this is, this speaks of this, that we, all beings, right? It doesn't matter how old we are or what type of being we are, even animals, like anything that's alive, the essence of us is the exact same, right? The body and what we are here to experience on this planet, these are the layers of the karma that we need to work through. And a child obviously needs help because it can't look after itself very well in the beginning, but the essence of it is the same as you, right? As an adult. And this is speaking about the Buddha nature as well. Like we have the living Buddhas like Dalai Lama, and we had Buddhas throughout the years, the lifetimes, eons of lifetimes. But really there is no difference between Dalai Lama and you or me or anyone, because the essence of us is the Buddha nature. It's the same, like the nature of all of us living is the exact same. It's just that we've got all these layers of obscurations and belief structures that we've been taught from the beginning. That is correct. I remember, or many times I've been asked when my son was younger, when he was a child and he was living with me still, and he was a child, and I became a vegan, or I was a vegan, and people kept on asking me, "Oh, are you making your son be a vegan?" Right? And in the beginning I didn't really see it, and I said, "No, I'm not forcing him to be anything." But then when you think about it, we are forcing our children to eat meat from the beginning. But because everybody does this, right? Because this is a normal behavior of the human race on the planet now, in many parts of the world, then we don't see that as forcing something upon them. But when somebody goes against the norm, they're taking, are you forcing this upon your child, right? And we need to look at what is actually true. What are we following the big herd? Because this is what it is, the herd of human beings. And where do our belief structures come from? And they come from our childhood. And it's not, and then also throughout our life, but lots are being set in the childhood. I listened to a psychologist was speaking about the subconscious and how we are like the first 7 years of our life, we're like a recorder. We are learning, we're just taking in, and we're being taught how to respond and react to things around us. And we've been taught this by the adults or the people around us. So if we're in an unsafe environment, well, this is what we're being taught, and this is how we are responding, and this is how our behavior, future behavior will become, right? And then if we're in a very safe environment where we can be open and don't have to worry, well, then obviously this is going to give you a different start in life. But we are constantly being, and even beyond 7 years old, right? Now, if you look at social media and all this, it's like what we are being fed is what we believe. If you don't start checking, we really need to remain alert and then checking, what is this information I'm taking in? Is it actually true? Right? Or is just the great mass doing something because the great mass has been doing this for a long time. So this is what we keep on teaching, again and again, generation after generation, with no ill will in mind, but this is what we know. But very few people actually checks and see, hang on, does that actually make sense? stops and thinks. So, and this is the problem with the world, because there are so many people that don't stop and change, they just believe. And this is the way we've been conditioned from the beginning, that this is the right way. Discernment, again, keeps on coming up here. Discernment. What is true? What is really true? Really double check constantly. Check. What is true? Is this true? That I'm doing now, that I'm believing now, is this true? Is this what this person is saying? Is this true? Does this resonate with me? Is this actually true? Or is this just some propaganda in some sort of way or form, right? Has this person that I'm listening to, did that person check the facts before they repeated it? And very, very seldom that is the case. Because we hear something and then we repeat it without checking. And then this becomes the truth. And maybe there's no truth at all. Very often there's no truth at all. It's just something that people keep on repeating because we do not check that it's correct. We just take it as our truth without any discernment. And so we're now at the childhood of this next step. So we need to nourish ourselves, but we've got to make sure that we are nourishing ourselves with wisdom, and with nourish ourselves with compassion, nourish ourselves with humility, nourish ourselves with openness, but making sure that we have strong boundaries as well, letting in goodness and compassion and love, right? But keeping out hatred and bad energies and things that are negative, that are damaging, okay? So finding this giving and taking, the ebb and flow. So being strength, having this strength on one side to be able to say no, and then the softness on the other side to be able to respond and receive and continue forward, okay? So Meng symbolizes the ignorant, innocent, or the child, because wisdom is not yet uncovered. And this is what we've been, this is what's going on. And this is how leaders like Trump, like tyrants, they can fool people and get big following. And it's the ignorance, right? It's when we don't see things clearly and when we don't question things. We just take it in. Because everyone around us are taking it in. So then we believe in this, of course, and everybody keeps repeating the same thing. So we keep on brainwashing ourselves with untruth. So discernment, very important. Nourish ourselves with goodness, not hatred. Nourish ourselves with truth, not untruth, not information without discernment. Nourish ourselves with good food. Nourish ourselves with love. That's what we do. So this is what we can then share to the world. And here we got like moving into Dui. This is really like this is the strong center. This is stability, right? We got the mountain, and here we got the mountain as well. It's like stable. It is, and then we go to the water underneath, flowing underneath, and then it's like a stream that builds into a lake that is, and a lake that is untroubled, has a strong center, and then lake, and then with that comes joy. So lake is refers to joy, and joy that comes from a strong center is true joy. It's not just ha 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 on the surface, right? Or laughing at others, laughing, ha ha, look at what they look like, hey, hey, hey. That's not very nice joy, right? Joy comes from within that we share with compassion. Okay. Zun denotes what has just been born. What has just been born is in its childhood. Thus, after beginning, childhood follows. So we've got like initiating, which is the overall theme, which is the first of this month, which is also the first first hexagram in the I Ching, which is like the spark, it's the seed that's being set. And then we got number 2, which is responding, which is the Mother Earth, which is nourishing, like setting. It's got this beautiful earth, nourishing earth where the seed can start to sprout. And then the beginning, as the seed sprouts, that's the beginning, it's starting to grow. But here we are still very vulnerable. But now we're moving into childhood, which is like a toddler, an older child. Like we're actually starting to like becoming a plant. But it still needs lots of nourishment, and we're still learning. So we're looking after ourselves, right? So this is where we are in the process of our new. And a child needs stability, and it needs nourishment. Oh, look here, there is a stream, mountain stream. So it's a stream under the mountain. So childhood, prosperous and smooth. It is not I who seek the ignorant seeks me. On the first divination, I give light. Repeating again is contemptuous. Being contemptuous, I give no more instruction. Favorable to be steadfast and upright. So we don't go out and look for, we make sure, okay, so it is not I who seeks the ignorant seeks me. Let's have a look again. Unenlightened, ignorant. At the foot of a mountain lies difficulty. Difficulty makes him stand still. It is ignorant behavior. Okay, so at the difficult we have a stream, or if we've got a river, which is, it was considered being dangerous to cross a river in ancient times. And it still is like a great river. It's like, we want a good solid boat to do that, right? Or a bridge across. So we don't have to swim in it. But if there's a strong current, we can be pulled away and then drowned. So difficult makes him stand still. At the foot of a mountain lies difficulty. So there's difficulty, right? But we mustn't freeze in this. Right? We mustn't go, oh no, I'm not going to move forward because that's dangerous, right? The ignorant can be prosperous and smooth if he acts in accordance with the proper time and follows the principle of the central way. It is not I who seeks the ignorant seeks me. His will responds to mine. Okay, so this means that, take control, not take control, but be receptive. Right, because it can go really well, right? To move forward, but you have to look at the situation and then act in time when the time is right. Not rushing in like a little toddler, just without thinking, rushing out among the cars on the street, not knowing, right? We need to look, okay, are there any cars on the street before we cross? And then if there are no cars, then it's safe to cross, right? So this does not say we shouldn't freeze here, going like, oh, I don't know what's going on, because we can't really see clearly, because this is the beginning of our new journey, and then we don't know. So we mustn't freeze here, but we need to move with wisdom, right? Really look at the situation and seeing, okay, so this is safe now. Now it's safe to cross the road because there are no cars coming. So we want to move. And in this way, right, we are able to respond. The ignorance or the fear is not keeping us in control. We are able to release the fear and move forward if we see clearly, right? On the first divination, I give light. He was firm and in a central position. So I think this is the speaking about the second 9 here, which is the young line at the yin place. Is firm and in a central position. Okay, so that's good. And the first divination, I see light. So if we look clearly, right, allowing our eyes to look through, using light to see what's going on, then would be fine, okay? Repeating again is contemptuous. Being contemptuous, no more instruction. Showing contempt causes ignorance, so we're not being contempt. We're not being overly sure with ourselves, right? If we don't know, we'll watch. We stop and watch. We don't go around and think that we are, oh, we know everything. I know everything. Oh, right. That's very, 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 very ignorant behavior, because there's there's so many things there we don't know, right? We are finding out before we take any steps forward, because being overly sure of something when we know nothing, then that leads to trouble for ourselves and others, okay? And it's very selfish. Uncovering the cover is to nourish the correct nature. It is a holy task. Yeah, uncovering the covered is to nourish the correct nature. Yeah, so look properly, right? And uncovering the covered is to nourish the correct nature. So this is to look within and see, I'll put on nature, really. And then also look without and see what is really going on. So we can really see before we take the next step. So let's have a look at the change in line, which is the first 6. Initial 6. Enlightening and ignorant, favorable to set examples, operating with shackles, going forward, humiliation. Favorable to set example. It is to set up a norm. Okay, so now it's important to be a good guide, right? Live your life with setting examples. And do you know what? You cannot change another person. You cannot say, you have to change like this. Well, you can force them, right? You're using a gun or something. No, you have to do these kind of things. But they're not really changing, right? I'm not saying you should use a gun and force somebody. I'm not saying, but this is just an example, right? But in order to help other people change, really, they have got to want to change, right? So you are setting an example with your own behavior. And in order to set good example, you need to cultivate your own behavior and really look at yourself, right? So first you have to set an example for yourself. The first person to work on is you, right? You cannot teach others until you yourself have become a teacher. And you are training to become a teacher by teaching yourself. Okay, you look at yourself and then looking, oh, hang on, that's not very good behavior. And then you change that. You might have to change it many times. It might rise many times, but keep on repeating that. And then so you live in a way that you set good example for yourself and others. Here, so the image of the gua is a spring flowing out of a mountain and becoming a murmuring stream. Afterward, the stream grows into a great river, nurturing myriad beings. However, as the river flows over the ground, it becomes dirty. This gua takes the image to expound upon the importance of enlightening and educating the ignorant while in the infant stage. Yeah. And I think this speaks more of us right now than actually teaching anyone else. We need to be able to, that we grow our wisdom and then cultivate our virtues and setting examples for ourselves. So when we do that, we can also, in the long run, set examples for others in how we are behaving, okay? So let's read a little bit more. So initial 6, childhood alternates into decreasing. The yin element at the bottom place is at the young place, symbolizing the initial stage of enlightening one who's ignorant. Enlightening cures incorrectness. It is important and beneficial to start at the very beginning. It's important and beneficial to start with yourself, right? The very beginning is yourself, okay? Is myself. The correction should be serious but not harsh. The purpose is to lead the ignorant one's way to the right path. Correction should not employ punishment as shackles that restricts the ignorant one's normal development. It is meant to establish a norm. Punishment will lead to regret and sorrow. According to the Confucian school, the best moral education is achieved through setting example. Confucius was named as a teacher of exemplary virtue through all ages. He advocated education without words, believing that the most powerful influence of teachers, leaders, and parents is their own words, deeds, and discretion. Yeah, so setting an example. But you start with yourself, set an example for yourself. Cultivate your own virtues so you can become this teacher, leading, coming from a heart of compassion, from a place of compassion, like a beautiful heart and wisdom as well. So let's have a look at decreasing a little bit more. Hardship, decreasing. So we've got mountain, lake. I'd love to see what this ideograph is speaking about, or the structure of the gua actually. The structure of this gua is a mountain above, lake below. At the foot of the mountain there is a lake. So the stream of this river turned into a river that's now turned into a lake. This symbol shows how it was imagined that an increase of a mountain was the same time the decrease of a lake. So so when the mountain is rising, it takes up the space of the lake, right? So when the earth have these plates that are moving, like big plates that are moving, and when they're crashing into each other, obviously, and then we get earthquakes, right? When it goes like quite fast, we get earthquakes. But as they are like moving together, they're pressing against each other. That's how mountains are rising, right? Out of these plates, they are rising up. That's mountains creating. But this goes very, very, very slowly. But when the mountain is rising, obviously the water is flowing away, because the mountain is rising out of this. So then the water is decreasing, the lake is decreasing. So we are decreasing what is below. So this is the inner gua, and then the outer gua is increasing. For example, the evaporation of water from the lake precipitates on the mountain. This gua has an inner connection with Tai, or advance, which we had 2 days ago, I think. And we've had a couple of times actually lately. Tai, which is a very auspicious word according to the Chinese. So let's have a look. Actually, it talks. Let's have a quick look at that. Let's see what element Tai is as well, just out of interest. Advanced is all the earth. Here there's a mountain named Tai that stands on the eastern coast of China. Mount Tai was regarded as a sacred mountain that connected heaven and earth. So we're climbing the mountain, coming closer to heaven, but still remaining on earth, becoming the conduit between heaven and earth. So here we are spreading energy all across beings, all our good energy, okay? Tai is one of the most auspicious words in the Chinese language. Originally, it meant more than or most. It generally indicates a condition of being more than great. Tai also means peace, safety, security, good health, or this suggests progression, proceeding and advancing. So peace and advancing, greatness, more greatness, right? And here we are decreasing the little, we are decreasing our more negative behaviors and increasing in wisdom and moving forward in humility and compassion. Decreasing, being sincere and truthful, supreme good fortune, no fault, appropriate to be steadfast and upright, favorable to have somewhere to go. How is it to be used? 2 bamboo trays can be used for offerings. Okay, so it's talking about our offering. Here it's like what they did. So they used to use 8 when they had like a ceremony doing offerings at the temple. During ceremonies at the temple, they usually used 8 bamboo trays. But they're speaking about it's okay with just 2 bamboo trays. It's not about, you don't have to be rich to give great offerings, right? It doesn't have to be big, lots of gold and, material things. It can be very simple. If your offering is your pure heart, is your wisdom, is your kindness, is your compassion, right? That is really the greatest gift you can give to the world. More than, material things. But that it doesn't, on the surface, it doesn't look very much, right? You don't come with lots of gold or diamonds and offering that, but you're offering your pure heart and your pure inner being and love and compassion. So decreasing, to decrease what is lower, to increase what is above. The way is to benefit the above. Decreasing and being sincere and truthful, there will be supreme good fortune without fault. One can be steadfast and upright. It is favorable to have somewhere to go. How can the principle of decreasing be used? With truthfulness and sincerity. 2 bamboo trays can be used for sacrifice, but employing 2 bamboo trays should be decided in accord with the time. There is a time for decreasing the firm and increasing the yielding. So decreasing and increasing, being full and being empty. These take place in accord with the conditions of time. Yeah, so this is about giving and taking and movement, rising and sinking. The seasons, you know, summer goes into autumn, into spring. It's like withdrawal, and then as we move into spring again, we're opening and we're moving, approaching forward. So everything, like electrical waves are waves, they're movement, and light are light waves, is movement. Everything goes in waves, it increases and it decreases. And also with this, right, you need to have firmness at the same time as you've got receptiveness and softness. So you need to be firm and have strong boundaries on one way, right? To be able to remain truthful and sincere, you're not being affected by negative energies. And then, but also you need to be receptive of other people around you and bring them in towards you as well. So have that openness to people that are good and need your help, but also have, you know, are not just stealing, it's taking from you, right? So having this ability to go from softness into hardness in this movement. So this is what it's talking about in the moment, is decreasing. But this is the way of the universe and life. And then the underlying energy here is actually turning back to what is truthfully us, right? Things cannot go beyond the extreme. When they reach the limit, they turn back to the origin. Thus, after falling away, comes turning back. And here actually is going out and coming in. This is also speaking about, so the hexagram before is falling away. So things are falling away, right? And then when things are falling back, we can turn back to our origin, because what's falling away is our all patterns and things that we needed in the past, right? Which was good for us to be able to survive or do whatever, live in the past, but they have all fallen away. So now we're turning back to our true essence, removing all the veils. And here we're talking about turning back prosperous and smooth, going out and coming in, no harm, friends arrive, no fault. The tower falling away and turning back. In 7 days comes the return, favorable to have somewhere to go. So this is about the universe giving and taking and turning back and falling away. It's how everything changes. Yeah, so I think that is enough of this reading for today. I hope it was of benefit to you, and I am wishing you a beautiful day ahead.